As I walked through the gates of my family estate, a sense of nostalgia washed over me. This was the place where I had grown up, where I had learned to ride a bike, and where I had my first kiss. It was also the place where I would soon exact my revenge on those who had betrayed me. I could still remember the day it all began. It was my mother's birthday, and we were all gathered around the dinner table, laughing and enjoying each other's company. Little did I know that this would be the last happy memory I had with my family. As the night wore on, my father announced that he had been diagnosed with a terminal illness and would not live for much longer. We were all shocked and devastated, but my father reassured us that he had everything taken care of. He had written a will that split his wealth and estate equally between my older brother, William, and myself. At first, I didn't think much of it. I loved my brother and was happy to share my inheritance with him. But little did I know that my brother had other plans. As the days went by, I noticed subtle changes in my brother's behavior. He became more distant, and there was a glint of greed in his eyes whenever he looked at me. I couldn't understand why, but I shrugged it off, thinking it was just my imagination. However, my suspicions were confirmed when my father passed away, and we read his will. As expected, everything was left to William and me. But what I didn't expect was for William to have manipulated my father into changing his will just days before his death. I was left with nothing but a small trust fund that my father had set up for me when I was a child. It was a mere fraction of what I was supposed to receive, and I knew William had played a part in this betrayal. With nothing left to lose, I left my family estate and decided to start a new life for myself. I worked hard and built a successful business empire, but the pain and anger towards my family never left me. It gnawed at my heart and consumed me, until one day, I couldn't take it anymore. I knew that I had to take matters into my own hands. I had to get revenge on my family, especially my brother, for their betrayal. And so, I began my plan. I started by hiring a private investigator to dig into my family's affairs. I wanted to know every little detail about them, every secret they had kept from me. And soon enough, I had enough information to begin my revenge. I started by targeting my brother's business empire. Using the information I had, I was able to sabotage his deals, causing him to lose millions of dollars. He tried to come to me for help, but I turned him away, just as he had turned me away when I needed him the most. Next, I turned to my mother. She had been the one who had always stood by my side, but she had also been complicit in my brother's betrayal. I revealed to her the truth about my brother's manipulation and stood back as she crumbled under the weight of her guilt. But my revenge was not yet complete. The final piece of the puzzle was my brother's wife, Elizabeth. She had been the one who had convinced my brother to go along with his plan, and I knew that she was the one I needed to get to next. I used my charm and resources to win her over, and before long, she was madly in love with me. I knew that this would be the final blow to my brother, and I relished in the thought of his pain and suffering. I waited for the perfect moment to strike. It was at my brother's 40th birthday party when I finally made my move. As William and Elizabeth made their grand entrance, I stood up and declared that I was in love with Elizabeth and that we were running away together. The shock and horror on my brother's face were priceless. And as Elizabeth took my hand and we walked out of the party together, I knew that my revenge was complete. But as I looked back at my family, I couldn't help but feel a twinge of sadness. These were the people who had raised me, who I had once loved and trusted. But they had betrayed me, and I had no regrets about the revenge I had exacted upon them. As I drove off into the night with my new love, I knew that this was the start of my new life. A life without my family, but a life that was free from the pain and betrayal that had consumed me for so long. And as I left my family estate behind in the dust, I knew that I was finally free.